Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I thought we'd make a fun trick-or-treat card, and we're going to be making the background using the Nuvo Shimmer powders. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start off by using the Strathmore Bristol Smooth 100-pound cardstock. I'm going to place that in my color catcher just to keep things clean, and I also have a craft mat in there. This paper has been cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And these are the Nuvo Shimmer powders. This is the Solar Flare, the Atlantis Burst, the Storm Cloud, and this last one is the Golden Sparkler. So these are just powders that we're going to shake onto this paper. I'm going to dampen it a little bit first with my Distress sprayer, and that's just water I'm spraying out. And then I'm going to shake on these powders, and you don't want to squeeze these because if you do squeeze the bottle, you'll get way too much of the powder. Just a little bit goes a long way, and especially with the black, you don't need much, just a little bit here and there. And then I'm going to use this last one, this golden one, which has a few different colors in it, a little bit of an orangey coppery tone as well. So then I'm going to spritz this again and get it nice and wet. Now you could keep spritzing it until all these colors blend, but I didn't want that. I still wanted to keep some of the light and dark areas. So I'm going to take a damp paintbrush and I'm just going to start moving that ink around a little bit. I'm cleaning it off as I go along, and anywhere where I see the granular portion of the powder that didn't dissolve in the water, I'm just going to use my brush just to push it around a little bit. And here you can see that I'm adding a little bit more of that blue-green color there. I just want to get a little bit more of that color in here. So the paper's nice and wet, so it did dissolve, and I'm also using my brush just again to move it around a little bit. If you don't move around those little granular areas, when the cardstock is dry, it could rub off in your hand. So you do want to make sure you take care of all that. And it's easy, just take a clean, damp brush and just go tap it a few times and it'll just dissolve those granular areas a little bit. So now I'm just taking a paper towel and just kind of dabbing up all that excess that we have. Just cleaning up the edges of the paper there a little bit. And now I did decide to pat off the paper a little bit as well, just to remove a little bit of the color. And these will dry in a beautiful shimmery, glimmery kind of a look. So here again, you can see that there's a few areas, granular areas, that I'm going in with my brush, and I'm just going to kind of blend those out a little bit. So now I decided that that looked pretty good. And you can see that shimmer there, and you'll see it better when it dries as well. So I continued cleaning up those little granular areas, and now I'm taking my heat tool and I'm just going to heat set everything. And now you can see that beautiful shimmer that we have. So I decided to grab the Nuvo Mica Mist, and this is the Silver Smoke, which is kind of this beautiful charcoal-y color. And this also has this beautiful shimmer to it. And rather than spraying it on, you can use it to spray your backgrounds, but I'm just going to tap on, I'm just dipping that in the mist there, and I'm just splattering it on my paper here, just to give it a little bit of a starry sky kind of a look. And then I'm going to grab my heat tool again and just heat set that. And there you can see how beautiful that is. So I did want to get a little bit more of a starry sky look, so I'm going to grab some white gesso. You could use white acrylic paint here, and I'm just putting a little bit on my craft mat. I'm spritzing it with water, and I'm just going to spatter that as well. I'm just using my fan brush here to do the spattering just because it goes a little bit faster that way. And now I'm going to heat set that as well. And you can see that adds a lot there. So now I want to take my Lawn Fawn ground coffee 100-pound cardstock to do the tree. I'm going to use this Leafy tree backdrop, and this is the portrait one from Lawn Fawn. They also do have a landscape one as well. So now you can start to see how pretty that sky is going to be. So taking my black soot Distress Oxide ink, I'm going to go over around the top of this just a little bit, just to add a little bit more of that black shadow up at the top here. So I'm just using my foam applicator tool, and I'm just adding a little bit of depth up here at the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of that ink along the edges of my tree and here and there on the frame, not all around, just a few little areas here. Just kind of patting it on. And you can see that there. So now I want to create the grassy border here. So I've taken a piece of cardstock and I'm going to use my stitched hillside borders. I'm going to grab this one here, and this measures 4 1/4 by about 3 inches, but I did cut it down a little bit later, so about 2 1/2 inches would be good. I'm using my Lawn Fawn Schoolyard paper collection here, and I'm grabbing that kind of blue-green color there on the end. I've gone ahead and die cut that stitch border, and you can see there it creates this cute little curve here. And I'm going to also go back to the Black Soot Distress Oxide ink, just like I did on the top before, and I'm just going to add a little shadow to this paper as well. I'm going to do a little bit more on the top, and then I'm going to bring it down around the bottom and the sides a little bit, keeping that center area the lightest. So now you can see that's going to fit right behind the frame there. Now I did decide I wanted to spatter a little bit of ink here. So I'm just patting down the Distress Oxide Black Soot ink onto my glass mat, spritzing that with a little bit of water, going back to my fan brush, and I'm just going to spatter these two pieces. Again, just to add a little bit more texture to that grassy area and to the frame as well. So here's when I decided the grassy border was up a little bit higher than I wanted it to be. So I'm going to trim off about 1/2 inch. So it'll be about 2 1/2 inches high and 4 1/4 inches wide here when we're done. For stamps, we're going to be using that house, the tree, the ghost, the trick-or-treaters, and those little gravestones as well. And these are all from the Spooky Village stamp set and the coordinating dies. And then those 3 pumpkins there and the 3 little faces. And this is from the Pick of the Patch stamp and die set. And then this sign post from the Open Me stamp set. And I've gone ahead and stamped and die cut everything. I also stamped the little faces on the pumpkins. So now using Scarlet Red, light brown, and brown, I'm going to go ahead and color in my little pumpkins. And this is kind of a different color combination, but this card I'm designing with keeping the Lawn Fawn Challenge number 62 in mind. And this is a color inspiration challenge. This is an inspiration board. So if you want to check that out, I have a link to it over on my blog. And you'll just see the challenge number 62 and just click on that and it'll take you right over to Lawn Fawn there. So you can take a look at that color board. So now I'm going to grab some black. And this is just to add a little shadow here to my pumpkins. I thought it's kind of a spooky trick-or-treat night. I want to give them a little bit more of a darker shadow. So that's why I chose the brighter colors. And then I'm just going to dull everything out with this black. And you'll see later on I'm going to do that with the houses as well. So now using oatmeal and dark brown, I'm going to go ahead and do the little signpost here. I'm just starting with the lighter color, adding that darker just up towards right along the edges of the sign and then pulling it out. And then with the gray brown, I'm going to go around the inside of this sign. I just wanted to age it a little bit, just give it kind of an antique-y look. So I'm just adding that right around the edges, and then I'm just pulling it into the center till it gets lighter and lighter. We're going to be stamping on this in a few minutes here. So I'm going to set that aside to dry before I do my stamping. So now with black, oatmeal, and dark brown, I'm going to go ahead and color in my trees. I'm using the oatmeal first, then the dark brown. I'll blend those two, and then I'll come in again with a little bit of that black. And I'm just pulling from the left to the right here, just kind of lifting the pen and pulling it over. Trying to leave it the lightest on the right hand side here. And now I've added that black, and again I'm just going to pull that in as well. And I'm going to do the same thing for that other tree as well. So now with bright yellow and orange, I'm going to do the little pumpkins up by these houses. And then with the brown, I'm just going to do the stems just like we did before. Now with the bright yellow, I'm going to do the windows. And I'm using my blender pen to do the blending here. And when this gets dirty, you just take a scrap piece of paper and clean it off. Now with turquoise green and Persian green, I'm going to go ahead and do the first house. And again, this color combination comes from the Lawn Fawn inspiration board. So it is kind of an unusual combination of colors, but in the end, I thought it was really pretty. So I do have to say it's fun to do some of these inspirations or find a set of colors and just create your card around that. It just kind of takes you outside of your normal, comfort zone, and it makes you try some different combinations that you wouldn't normally try. And I have to say, in the end, I really love this combination altogether. So the color combination was a teal blue, a lime green, which we did use some of that green in the sky, a yellow, orange, and kind of a mustardy color. So and it's an interesting combination. So now I'm going to take the dark brown and I'm going to go ahead and add a little shadow here at the bottom of these doors. And then when I get finished coloring all of these things, because again, it is very bright and I did want it to be more of a spooky look, I'm going to be adding the black later on. So now I'm going to do the gray brown on the corners of the roof and pull that up towards the center so it gets lighter at the top here. And I'm doing the same thing with the front porch, just kind of pulling in towards the center. Now I'm going to do this little house with the orange. I'm putting some at the top and at the bottom, and I'm just pulling towards the center here, kind of lifting my pen as I go. And then with the light brown, this is kind of that mustardy brown that's in the inspiration board. I'm going to add that again with the same technique, pulling down towards the center and up from the bottom. And now I'm going to take that black and do the front porch here. Now with the light gray, I'm going to do the little ghost. And with the wine red, I'm going to do the chimneys. And again, these Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens is what I'm coloring with. And these are a water-based pen, so they're really easy to blend. And now I'm going to come in with that black. And I'm just going to kind of add that kind of shadowy black effect to all of these houses and the doors and everything here, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a spooky look. So I'm just adding it to the roof line there and then pulling it down in towards the middle here. I'm going to do that for everything here. I also wanted to mention that to do all the stamping, I used the VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which is a permanent black ink, and it works perfectly with your watercolor markers or pens. And also keep in mind that I have a complete list of all the supplies that I've used in today's video down below. So just check down below for the list of everything here. And then I just continue to add this black to all of these pieces here. And you'll see in the end, it gives it a really kind of interesting look. And it doesn't take long to add this little shadow. And the reason I add it at the end is I want to let my paper dry a little bit. Sometimes, because the black a little bit goes a long way. So I could have done it right away, but I like to let the paper dry just a little before I come in with the black. And then I feel like I have a little bit more control over the black that way. And you can see that I keep cleaning off my blender pen here because the black, again, you get a lot of it on your marker. So I just keep going to my scrap paper there and cleaning any excess off. So I don't know about all of you, but I absolutely love Halloween. I just think it's so fun and whimsical. I love making Halloween cards. I love making Halloween party favors and home decor items and all those kinds of things. Just sort of takes you out of your normal life, and it's just, you can just kind of do anything you want. It's just fun to relax and just enjoy playing around with all the different colors. So I'm going to continue coloring this in and adding the black here and there. And then you can see that up close there, how that looks. So here now I'm going to grab the gray brown and I'm just going to do the bottoms of these little gravestones here, and then I'm going to pull that up towards the top. And then here I'm grabbing the turquoise green just to do the grass, kind of keeping in that blue-green color and blending that out a little bit. And then with the light gray, I'm just going to do these little ghosts and just blend that out. And for the little trick-or-treaters, I'm just using a combination of all the colors that we've already used. And then I'm going to use a little violet on her dress and the flesh color on their skin there. So other than that, we pretty much have the same colors here. So here I'm going to use this stamp set that says Trick or Treat, and this is from the Costume Party set. And I am going to go ahead and cut this stamp. I kind of hate doing it. I still struggle with cutting these. And you could just mask off one word at a time with your Post-it tape. Ink it up, then remove the tape and stamp one word at a time. But I am getting used to cutting these a little bit, and you can always put them back together to use them as one entire sentiment. So there you can see how great that looks. Now I'm going to grab my 1/4-inch double-sided tape, and I'm going to put tape all along the back of this and just attach this down at the bottom of our card panel here. And now I'm going to just kind of decide where I want all my little pieces to be. And now you can see just how beautiful that sky is. And really in person, it's just so much prettier. It's got that beautiful shimmer, which I'll try to show you a little bit later here. And so that's how the scene is going to kind of lay out there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all of these little pieces in place. And I'm just using the Lawn Fawn glue tube to glue everything in place. Now that frame is going to sit right over top there, but I did want to pop it up just a little bit. So I'm going to use the Darice adhesive foam strips. These are the 1/8 inch strips. And if you don't have these, you really do want to get them. I love these. They're so thin and they fit in all these little tiny places, and you don't have to try to cut your Scotch foam mounting tape into strips. So this is a really easy way to add that foam adhesive to these narrow borders. So that gives it a little bit of dimension there. And now I'm going to go ahead and in the foreground here, I'm going to add my signpost and my little pumpkins. And in order to get that to lay kind of flat there, I'm just going to add a little bit of that 1/8 inch foam tape along each side here of the sign. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue down the center. And so that'll sit nice and flat on my card. And then I'm going to do the same thing here with the little pumpkins. Just kind of attach these. I'm just going to attach this one flat here and the one in the back flat as well. And then for that one in the front there, I'm going to also add a little bit of those foam strips just to get it to lie flat. So I'm adding glue down the center and then a couple of little foam strips, or just one here along the side, just to make sure that it stays in place here. Now for the little ghosts, I'm just going to use my little Marvy jewel picker to put these in place. And it's got like a little sticky end on it. So I'm just putting the glue down and then popping these into place. This just makes it easier to pick up these little tiny pieces. So now I did decide I wanted to add some lights to the tree, some Halloween lights. So I'm going to use my mini string of lights. And you need to cut, there's 8 lights on the strand here. So you need to cut 2 sections of the overlay light. So you can see there it has a little opening in it to show a highlight on the light, to show the reflection of the light. So I use my orange to color them in, and then I'm using the black to color in the string part and the little tops of the bulbs as well. You could certainly use like a silver here or gold here, but I just thought I kind of wanted to stick with the kind of black spooky look. So I'm just doing this whole thing in the black. And you don't want to color in the lights themselves because we want that white to show through. That's the reflection that we're going to get. So this just takes a couple of seconds here. So once I have that all colored, I'm going to go ahead and attach the little orange lights to this strand here. I'm going back to the glue tube and I'm just going to position these in place. So I went ahead and did all of those, and you can see how pretty that string of lights is. Now I have a standard A2 size card which measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's a top folding card. And I did make it out of the Bristol Smooth Strathmore 100-pound cardstock. You do want a heavy weight for your cardstock here because this front is kind of thick, and so you want something that's going to be able to hold that. So I applied my 1/4-inch double-sided tape along the back here, and then I'm just positioning this in place. And now I'm going to try to figure out where those little lights are going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this kind of in half here. And then I'm going to cut that one off the end there and just kind of maneuver these around until I get them where I think they look the best. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. And I just thought these were so cute. I love how this looked. I was so glad that I added this. I thought it was fun and whimsical. And I can't wait to use these again for Christmas because I just think they're so cute. And then I'm going to grab that last one and just kind of put it in the corner there. So then once I got those in place, I wanted to add a little glaze to these. So I'm grabbing the Nuvo Crystal Glaze. This is just a crystal clear glaze. And I'm just going to put it on all over these bulbs. And they're going to make them look more dimensional and a little bit more realistic looking. And then I grab my Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen. This is the crystal clear. And I'm just adding that to each of the windows here. I'm going to add it to the outfit on the little witch, and then I'm going to also add it to the 3 little ghosts. And so here you can see our completed card. And that glaze, you can see how beautiful that looks on our lights. And here's our little village. And I just think this is a cute, fun little card. And I love that Nuvo Shimmer background. If you enjoyed the Nuvo Shimmer powders, check out the other videos I have. The Lawn Fawn Beam Me Up card with Nuvo Shimmer powders and the Lawn Fawn Peacock card. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.